Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Today with Ray. I'm your host, Ray Mati, and this is the show that highlights everyday entrepreneurs. If you're new here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell so you'll be the first ones to know when a new episode comes out. This week, I'm here with the coolest guy ever. If you are here in Wilmington and you don't know about Matt Keene, no, he's saying not true. I'm here this week with Matt Keene from Gravity Records, one of the coolest spots on Castle Street.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm so in awe of who I have on the show. Look. So I'm super excited. Thanks again for being
thank you
here.
for inviting me.
No problem.
I feel very honored and privileged to be able to do this.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We were talking offline because my husband is a big fan of your shop. He actually was the one.
I'm a big fan of your husband.
Yeah, see, he's gonna just gawk out when he hears that. But he was like,
I am. It's true.
Have you thought about interviewing Matt? And I was like, you know what? Let's have him on the show. And here you are.
Poof.
Poof.
Same magic. Not really. I just left work, went home, and let the dogs out, and came here. But there could be some mystery to it.
Yeah, it's a mystery. So, I want to start off the interview. I always start off with the same question, but tell us a little bit about yourself and how it is that you became an entrepreneur.
I guess so. My whole life has been music. My parents put me in playing violin from the time I was 3. I don't remember starting violin. That was just sort of a forever thing.
Yeah.
That I grew up doing and played all through childhood and through high school. Had a scholarship to North Carolina School of the Arts and wasn't really ready to say that's it. This is what I'm going to do forever. So I turned the scholarship down, and in trying to figure out what I was going to do, went to business school at UNCW.
Okay.
And had I guess I wouldn't even say part-time, a full-time job working at a record store that was here called Manifest Disc and Tapes. I guess between that and my grandfather was a pretty big influence on me, my mom's dad. He was sort of a self-made businessman, small businessman throughout my entire lifetime, and I lost him when I guess I was 16 or 17.
Okay.
But yeah, between all the music stuff, playing in bands and being in musical acts and the record store that I worked at, it was just kind of like when that business came to an end, when the guy who owned that small chain of record stores decided he was done, he didn't want to do that anymore, he wanted to do something else, I decided I wasn't ready to go and finish college.
Okay.
I was screwing around through college.
Yeah.
Yeah. And said, I could do this. I could make this happen. It can't be that expensive to start up. And that was stupid. I had no clue,
Right.
I knew what I wanted to do. That was one of those moments in life where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I want to do this. I'm going to make this happen. How do I make this happen? Yeah, that was just over 20 years ago that I was literally filling racks in our first location and getting all the initial orders in. And it's wild. So this August will be 20 years that we've been open to the public.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's kind of crazy thinking 20 years has passed, and it's like I look in the mirror and I'm like, dang, yeah, really? 20 years?
20 years.
Yeah.
Well, when you find something that you love doing.
I do.
Yeah, it just blinks and you're like, oh,
It doesn't really feel like work.
Right.
It's stressful for sure. Owning a small business is more stressful than I ever thought it would be. Not getting any kind of steady paycheck or a paycheck at all, really.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little unnerving, a little scary. Or trying to put everything you can make back into the business, but I wouldn't trade it at all. I don't want to do anything else.
Right.
I love what I do. I love educating people about music. I love talking about music. It's one of those gigs that I feel like it's very much almost like a bartender, in that we sort of play like a almost like a shrink for folks, you know? Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's therapeutic for folks
Absolutely.
to come into a record store, but just having a conversation with the folks at the record
Right.
store. Like I spent much of my 20s in bars
Yeah.
and made some great friends that way with some bartenders, but like I remember a lot of those conversations and I feel like I have a lot of those conversations with my customers. That I shouldn't even say customers, with my friends.
Yeah.
It's weird how well you can get to know these people, just and like deep things about these people
Yeah.
and these conversations. So like, I don't know. I look at it a lot more than just like, cool, let me turn somebody on to some music, or oh, let me fix somebody's turntable for me.
Right.
It's kind of like, nah, I gotta be there for Wilmington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know. I feel like that's just part of the job, you know?
Yeah. And I think a lot of it contributes to your own passion that you have for it. And so when that exudes and it comes off authentically, that people they real recognize is real at that point. So when you can,
Yeah, I love that phrase.
yeah, so-
Real recognize real, game recognize game.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when you can, cross those lines where it's no longer a business client but a friend,
Yeah.
because y'all have matched something that has no race, gender, no anything. Music is just, it's a beautiful thing because it surpasses everything, and it is therapeutic. I mean,
For sure. It's
so-
like I don't know, like the common language for everybody. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So you said you started with violin.
Uh-huh.
Do you still play any instruments?
I mean, I can play strings.
Yeah?
In general, I can play violin. I still have a violin.
Okay.
I don't get to play often.
Right.
Between working, although weirdly enough, like I feel like I'm doing a really good job recently of taking days off. Normally, I'm like, oh, I'll work a month straight.
Yeah.
And yeah. Or, oh, I'll just leave, a few hours early each day. It'll be okay. And nah,
Yeah.
lately it's like 2 or 3 days off a week. Like, whoa,
Whoa.
I hadn't done that. And it's weird because like we are at our shortest staffing I think I've ever been right now.
Okay.
But folks that are there, I really like trust immensely, and their skill set and work ethic are insane. So it's just like, okay, like I'm good. I can take off,
Yeah.
which is it's better for the relationship. The missus, it's better for the dogs.
Yeah.
We've got 5 dogs, and it's a lot
Holy
to
Jesus.
spread the love between all of those dogs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it wasn't supposed to be at all.
Yeah.
I might get off on that tangent we were talking about, but no, like so, like a bunch of our dogs we've found on Castle Street over the years.
Okay.
I've found a total that have ended up in my care of 7 dogs on Castle Street. One of those is a Chihuahua that now lives with my mom, who has epilepsy, so she has like seizures.
Yeah.
She's on like medication for that. The oldest, well, no, she's the oldest. She's like 18. Our oldest dog in our household's Mookie. Mookie's on most of the Gravity Records merchandise. He's the dog with the
Okay.
headphones and all
Okay.
that stuff. Yeah, he literally just like walked
Dog's
in the
famous.
front door. Well, he like walked in the door at the shop with a girl that was working at the coffee shop. They like walked in and like, y'all know this dog? And they were like, no.
No.
And they called me because it was one of those rare times I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was dog sitting for a friend at that point. And she was like, nah, you're going to go get that dog and you're going to keep that dog. And I was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
And he was all sorts of messed up and starved and needed like leg surgery.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a ton of dog stories we could go on for like
So you're
hours
also a
here.
dog whisperer is what I'm
I
getting
guess,
at.
yeah. Like, we ended up with 9 in the house summer
Oh
of
my
2020. I hope
gosh.
nobody's hearing that really, but yeah. We found a mama and her puppies,
Oh my God.
and Animal Services gave them to us to take care of. After I told them I'd take care of the mama, and I ended up bribing this dude to tell me where the puppies were.
Right.
And that guy Frank's now no longer with us. Frank is gone, but we ended up with the mama and her puppies and got everybody healthy, got all the puppies rehomed. The one boy ended up back with us twice, so he just lives with us now. as does his mom. She'll never be adoptable. She's
Yeah.
too like psychologically damaged to be adoptable. She's had trainers work with her.
Oh my gosh.
And we're just like, we got to drop her. She's like too much of a liability. Like, it's a lot.
Wow.
So anyways, that's enough about dogs. Sorry.
No,
but yeah,
no, you're fine. I'm like,
a
man,
lot of my
that should be your
time-
side business. You can get, a disc and a dog.
No more dogs. I don't even bring them to work anymore because they're so bitch, you know.
Yeah, just D&D.
I used to take
Disc and
about three to work with me, and I realized like some people don't like dogs, or some people are traumatized from dogs. It's not.
That's
fair to
true.
them,
That's
so.
true. That's true.
And right now with my partner working from home, she's home with the dogs all
Yeah.
day, so it works out.
It works out. I do want to hint back on a subject. Look, all I can think about is dogs now. But
Sorry.
no.
That's a lot you should think about.
you made an interesting point, which Vance, I'm kind of finding is like our theme for the season is that entrepreneurs, at least what we've talked to or who we've talked to on this season, are finally realizing or coming to a point where it's just like, okay, I have to make time for myself. And as you've already said, like there's sometimes where you've worked a month straight and just like, oh, I probably should take a day off. How is that for you? You said this is probably your shortest staffed. As an entrepreneur, how do you keep in the forefront of your mind yourself, like taking care of yourself now?
So I think honestly, it's so much of it's knowing that if I don't take some time away, or find some kind of time to rest, I'm not very effective or efficient at work. So for my staff, if I'm not taking time away,
Yeah.
if anything, I'm not helping them at all by being there at work. If anything, I'm making it worse for them. Like,
That's true.
like when I'm sitting there, like I fixed 2 turntables this morning before I had to leave and let the dogs out and
Yeah.
all this. And that takes a decent amount of like, I don't say brain power, but like each one's a little different. What's wrong with it and
Right.
diagnosing that. And if I'm not rested, or if I'm on like a month straight, or I didn't sleep well or whatever, like I'm not going to be able to fix that. I'm total. My hands won't be steady. The soldering iron is going to be a mess. Like, yeah, like in me recognizing one that I do need some time for myself. So much of it is still related to the business.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Plus, they're gonna get sick of seeing me every day. You know,
Well,
that's a strain on like friendships too. Because I like to
Yeah.
think in general, I'm typically friends with the folks working with me.
true.
Although that can get to be a whole thing too. That can get very toxic, and there's a lot of workplaces where it's like, oh no, we're like one big family. or
Oh,
we're
God,
this
yeah,
or
that's not
that. Dude, yeah,
the
that-
right things to say.
no, but like I do treat the team like family,
Right.
and obviously we're gonna argue like family at times, but I involve the staff, whoever's on staff at the time. I always involve them in any decisions we make.
That's great.
I try to run it like that. Ultimately, I'm gonna make whatever decision, but typically it's all from input from staff. You know.
No, and I think that's a great work environment. As you mentioned, when they cross that line, like, well, we're one big happy family.
Yeah.
That's a little, gray zone. But I think people out there that do work for small business owners could appreciate the fact that involving their input is more kind than just, hey, this is my business.
Yeah,
this is my baby.
I respect their opinion.
Right.
There's times that they're dealing with customers more than I am.
Right.
If I'm off in the corner fixing a turntable, I may not have those
Yeah.
conversations with customers or see what they're looking for. Like, if we change something up, get input back from them on like, oh, is this more easily shopped? Like with these records in this rack versus on the shelf, or yeah. No, I mean that, and like after 20 years, like I'm tired, man. Like
Yeah.
I can only have so many ideas before it's just like, okay, like I need somebody else's input on this.
That's true.
So,
especially as we resurface. It's always so weird when they say like history repeats itself. But I think we've now entered a zone where vinyls are such a cool, hip, new thing, but they're not really new. You're coming from a perspective of like, this has been my life. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Right.
we need this on vinyl. Like,
It's funny for me to see like television commercials or movies or TV shows and see just how many ways they sneak in a record or
Right.
a turntable, and it's just like, okay. It's even funnier when they've got it like set up wrong, or if it's not playing right or whatever,
Right.
like, or there's no needle on this thing.
yeah.
But no, even like those folks realize that it is on some level like hip,
Yeah.
or cool, or the thing to be doing right now. But they also probably recognize that it is somewhat permeating popular culture again, to where they kind of have to put it in there to be current, or their brand be current.
Yeah.
Whatever, For me, I don't know. I like recorded music. I like physical formats.
Physical
Always
formats,
have,
yeah. Well, yeah. Let us know in the comments what your favorite vinyl or CD or artist is. Maybe it's at Gravity Records.
Maybe it's Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah,
It should be.
it should be, right?
Nah, it don't got to be your favorite. It's just my favorite.
Let us know. We're going to go on a quick commercial break. Vance wasn't as bossy this time. He was just a little bossy. But we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll see you on the other half.
At Cape Fear Community College's Small Business Center, our mission is clear: to boost the number and success rate of viable small businesses in New Hanover and Pender County. We offer high quality, readily accessible assistance to prospective and existing small business owners, leading to job creation and retention. As a community-based provider, we offer education, training, counseling, referral, and information services, all at no charge. Remember, the business starts with an idea, but success begins with a plan. We're here to help you with that plan. To get started, visit our website at cfcc.edu/SBC or give us a call at 910-362-7469. Let's get started.
Discover the innovations shaping the future of our oceans. Join us on September 17th at the UNCW's Burney Center. Engage with leading experts like Mark Huang from Sea Ahead and Susan Casey, author of Voices in the Ocean. Participate in dynamic panel discussions on building a North Carolina Blue Hub, empowering communities, startup innovations in sustainability, and funding ocean innovations. Early registration ends August 1st, so register now to secure your seat. Be part of the change. See you there.
Hey guys, we're back. And we're here with Matt Keene with the coolest spot on Castle Street. Off camera, we got a full lesson that you said old turntables have a unique smell.
Oh yeah, for sure. The old grease smells like, especially the natural like greases, not
Yeah.
like synthetic greases. Old electrolytic capacitors have a very certain smell.
Who would
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's like
It's kind of comforting
it's
for me.
for him. I think if I would have smelled it, I'm like, what is this?
It's foul.
And then we did have another conversation. We're going to bring it on camera this time. We talked a little bit off camera about the perspective of, the unique business that you're in and how sometimes you may be given the opportunity to work with other people. What advice or what's your standpoint when it comes to that, your own personal experiences as an entrepreneur when you have a certain opportunity to work with someone else? Talk to us about that.
I guess what I was saying is you really, really should know who you're getting in bed with.
Mm-hmm.
Know that like you don't have total control at that point. Not that I have total control in the shop. I really do involve the staff on everything, but and someone's always going to work harder than someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe two people could work equally as hard, but
Right.
it's like I cannot tell you how phony it feels to me when I see people reach out to me or anyone and just be like, we should collab.
Yeah.
Like, cool. What do you
What does that entail?
are you going to come to me with this full blown concept of
Yeah.
what you'd like to do, or are you're throwing it out there so I can do all the work? And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. Like playing with others is tough, I
Yeah.
guess. I honestly started the business with my brother
Okay.
back in 2004. I'm gonna blow up his spot a second.
Oh, he took the glasses off, people.
Nah, he had gotten home. He had done some really dumb shit when he had just turned 18.
Okay.
And luckily didn't have to go away for too long. And he came home, and I wanted him to have a job. I
Right.
knew it was going to be hard for him to find a job. So I got him a job working with me at Manifest.
Okay.
When that was closing down, I thought, what are we going to do? Like, he's going to have to find a job. You know, like, I want him to have a decent job. So I brought him along. Like, we started that shop together.
Okay.
And music wasn't necessarily his thing, but even then, like, it was hard, especially hard with family,
Yeah.
partnering on some stuff, you know. Hell, our first accountant was my aunt, my dad's sister.
Mm-hmm.
She stole so much money from us, y'all.
Oh my god.
Like, I am still
Oh my gosh.
paying back the Fed. I'm almost done paying back the Fed. Like, a decade of her doing like, and I don't even know how it didn't pop up before it did, but yeah, it's tough getting
Yeah.
into business or doing business with people, you know.
People,
So like,
yeah.
really do like your homework. I've failed to do that in the past. I have failed to really deep dive and look into who I would be partnering with.
Right.
You know, just because they seemed like they were decent people on the surface. Right? He's cool. He's friends with so and so, or she's friends with so and so. Like, I don't know. Just go into it. Really do your homework. Figure out who you're partnering with. See what they can bring to the table and what you can bring to the table, and see if it makes sense. If it's mutually beneficial, and that the sum of the parts is bigger than
Right.
that. You know, like, I don't know. I get discouraged sometimes
Okay.
with failed things in the past like that. But then, I don't know. Then I look at and just be like, man, I'm still doing this. After 20 years, I'm still doing this.
Yeah.
Like, last month it was tough. We had a really hard month last month. That
Okay.
was, I think, our slowest month this year. I had been telling people it was, and I started looking back at the numbers. I was like, it might not have been our slowest month this year, but it's pretty close. But somehow we always
Pull
get through. Yeah. Yeah. And I like to say, oh, that's hard work, or that's, I don't know, like, really like doubling down, trying to get some done. But I also think that, like, I have been extremely lucky in that whatever entity or universal power or whatever personification of whatever you want to call it, like, I swear in the darkest hour, I always get thrown a bone.
Yeah.
So,
That's real.
yeah, it, and I don't ever want to, like, take that for granted or think, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get bailed out here. Like, no, like, don't ever think that. But I swear to God, when things are tough, like, we had a couple slow weeks, I ended up with a really great vintage vinyl buy last week.
Yeah.
Like, huge buy for me. That, like, all of a sudden after that started hitting the floor, it was like, oh, numbers jumping back up. Like, and honestly, I hate money, y'all. Like, I hate, like, capitalism. I hate money. I hate having to make money to stay in business. I just want to do what I like.
Yeah.
So I hate
That's so
having
real.
to sit there and, like, look at those numbers and
Yeah.
try to figure out bottom line. And, like, God, we're spending more than we're making.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the overhead's this amount, and, like, credit card fees are this amount. Like, it's a lot.
It is.
Insurance and all that stuff. Like, I just want to do what I like. And there's so many ways. It's like, man, like, I had an opportunity before we opened the shop. I got offered the job of being, like, the regional manager for a small chain of record stores up around Baltimore. It was called Record and Tape Traders.
Okay.
I don't think they exist anymore, so probably best thing I didn't
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, there's so many times, like, man, it'd just been easier working for somebody else and getting a steady paycheck and still getting to do what I love. But I don't know, there's something to be said for doing it for yourself and proving to yourself you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And proven to his dogs that he can.
There have been a lot of shop dogs over the years. The second shop dog, he just passed away a couple of years ago. You know, he made it to, like, 16.
See,
That was crazy
that's
for a big dog.
crazy.
For a big dog, yeah. Most of mine go to about 16 or so.
Yeah.
So- or they have
Yeah,
for the most part.
that's incredible.
Mookie's like 13 right now. He's the one on all the merch.
Yeah.
Like he's doing good. We had a scare last year. He had a spinal issue where he had lost some function in his back legs. All of a sudden, I was like, oh man, like
Is it?
the X-rays, they thought he had cancer,
Oh,
and then
gosh.
like he got a CT and it wasn't. It's just a lot of arthritis and a bulging disc, and he's better now. But
Again,
dogs,
the dog whisperer. I mean, there's not many people.
Castle Street dogs.
The Castle Street dogs, man.
There's plenty of them. You just walk out the door and find them, I swear. But
So speaking of Castle Street,
yes, ma'am.
have you always been there, or when did you land on Castle Street, and why specifically Castle Street? Because it's jumping
Right.
now.
Right. So when we
But-
first opened, we moved into a little strip mall around the corner from where Manifest had been,
Okay.
over on Carr Avenue or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. We were there for a while. Strip mall wasn't really my vibe, but you know, rent was cheap. We
Yeah.
made it a thing. And we're kind of a destination like store anyway. So you're gonna drive to come shop there. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily just walking in off the street. Like a very specialized store. But we got word, like surveyors and through the pipeline, that the city was going to widen Carr Avenue, and it looks so different now than it did.
Yeah.
It was like 2 lanes when we were over there. But when that was going down, when was this? That was 2012. I had just gotten married, which I'm now divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a stepdad. So I was taking the kid to school, and she was going to a little school downtown, a Catholic school downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dropping her off one morning, and I was driving back home up Castle Street, and I saw space was for rent. And I called and set up, like, walk through or whatever, and I went in there, and there was a little plastic, like acrylic plastic sign laying on the floor in the corner of that store. It said the music corner, and I was like, all right,
That's the
done.
sign.
Which is weird because like before that it was a clock shop, and
That's odd.
they did glass blowing in back, so I don't even know where the sign came from, but it was like, all right, here's my sign, we're gonna do this. And I
Yeah.
liked the spot, and we did. We were originally subleasing from a guy that was a total slump lord.
Yeah.
We were getting so screwed. And then the city got involved with code enforcement stuff, and now we deal direct with the building owner, whose grandfather built that building in the early
Wow.
1900s, or great-grandfather,
Yeah.
I guess. No, probably his grandfather. But anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our second location.
And it's been.
And I
great
hope
ever
it's,
since.
I don't want to move from there at any
Right.
point, especially not soon. But as long as it treats us right,
Yeah.
very cool. I mean, I like being part of Castle Street over
Mhm.
there. I don't know. We're trying to do a lot of good things over there.
Yeah. That's right. And you are doing a whole bunch of good things over there.
I got involved with there's a nonprofit group over there called the Castle Street Collective that I'm part of. They kind of tricked me into being on it, and then they made me the president.
Oh my God.
But yeah, but it's got full nonprofit status now, and it's like that group's trying to do a lot of good things as
Yeah.
far as just like beautification of the street and community events and like free movie nights and
Yeah.
stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
I do have the nonprofit should have been called the Castle Street Dogs. I mean,
Right. I didn't start. It's been around a while. They just finally got it like,
they tricked you into being the president. Yeah.
That wasn't my intention. I don't even have time to be on
Right.
a board, Like I was on the board at the local co-op here in
Mhm.
Tidal Creek for a while, and realized I could not.
Right.
You know,
You don't
I
have the
can
capacity for
I can
it.
barely do the business and home,
Mhm.
Like I don't need another thing.
Yeah.
But if I see it, something that I think I can help with, like in some way, or like
Mhm.
make something better, I'm gonna try.
Gonna try.
Yeah.
I do have a question when it comes to the actual music,
Uh-huh.
and I think a lot of us watching may have the question: How do you curate what's in your shop?
It's like the new stuff, like new vinyl. We, as a team, typically me and the shop manager, we literally just start adding things, building orders around things we want to see in there.
Okay.
Things that customers have asked about, like or even reissue stuff. Like the first 3 Sade albums got reissued today, so those are out there and available. Jadakiss, like he had a reissue album, like hadn't been in print for like 10 years, I think.
Okay.
But, a lot of it's just stuff that we want to see in there and we want to tell people about. But it is, customers asking as well. As far as the vintage records go,
Yeah.
pre-owned and vintage stuff, I'm kind of at the mercy of what people want to sell to me.
Gotcha.
I think there's this big misconception that I'm out like scouring, or that any records, I mean, maybe other stores do it this way, I don't know, like that I'm out like hitting up estate sales or yard sales or hitting the because there's a lot of vintage clothing flippers that'll hit up like those sort of things, or thrift stores, but like
Right.
you're not gonna find, like, it's hard to find anything decent
Yeah.
in those spots, at least as far as records go. So I think so much for us is like we've built this reputation as paying fairly for those things,
Mhm.
and sort of like trying to continue on someone's like the prior owner's legacy, like sharing the story about them, like who they were and
Yeah.
where they got these records. Like I try to do that with all the stuff in the shop. So I think a lot of folks do come to us because of that. And whatever they have, if I feel like it's a good fit for the shop, or I can sell it, or if it's
Yeah.
in a good enough condition, because we're pretty picky about condition. If it's in good enough shape for us to sell it, then I'll make an offer and buy it. Like we had a guy that I was saying earlier, I got like a really good buy last week. This guy just called me up out of the blue and was just like, "Hey, I'm going to bring a bunch of records to sell." He said he was just going to bring the punk stuff. He was going to leave like the Beatles and Zeppelin and stuff at home. And I was like, "Nah, like, bring all of it."
Yeah.
Like, I've got people that want all that, And dude brought 400 or 500 records.
Wow.
I, asked him how much he wanted for it, and he told me, and I was able to pay him what he wanted.
Okay.
It's funny sometimes when you ask somebody how much they want for it, and you're like, "Oh no, I can give you a lot more than that for this," Yeah, I don't know. Again, we were talking about like the universe or whatever. Like it's funny when those sort of things like appear to me or like come into my life, and it's like I had to DJ a friend's wedding back in like 2011 or 12 or something,
Okay.
and they had wanted a bunch of old soul stuff, and I didn't have like a ton of it that I owned personally, so I was just gonna grab stuff from this shop. And like a couple of days before the wedding, some dude unloads like thousands of 45s, like Motown and Stax. I was like, man, the timing on this.
Timing.
Oh, and it was dope. We did a whole 45, nothing but 45s for the wedding until like the grandmas left, and then it was
Yeah. It was time to party.
like
then.
some in the clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that Andre and UGK joint.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
No, I think that's beautiful, and a lot of times we do have a lot of entrepreneurs that talk about, universal happenstance, or that, whoever, whatever you believe in, that timing is so important when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because like you said, sometimes you have like a slow month and then like you get thrown a bone, or you have something coming up and it's just like, I don't know what to do, and it's just like, boom, here you go, I got you. Like, and I don't know about you, but being an entrepreneur, you have to have so much faith in something
Yeah.
beyond yourself,
Oh, for
because like if
sure.
it was just to my limited understanding, I wouldn't even be doing this show right now.
Right? Yeah, it's funny because I don't ever even think about it until it happens. And then it's
Right.
like, oh, there it is. Like,
Yeah.
there's that universal bailout that
That's
happens.
right.
It's weird. It's like when I'm stressing over, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this happen?
Yeah.
How am I going to make the ends meet, or how am I going to meet this deadline or whatever. and then stress and stress and stress over that, and that keep you up at night kind of thing.
Yeah,
Don't even think about like, oh yeah, something's gonna happen to save me on this.
that's right.
But I also feel like I've like, for someone who's been in business for 20 years, I still tell people I fly by the seat of my pants. I
Yeah.
have for 20 years. Like I don't have some like great business acumen or something. Like I think I'm terrible with money.
But you said you don't even like money.
I
so
don't,
that
I
makes
don't, and I
sense.
hate spending it,
Yeah.
man. Like normally Anna does some grocery shopping. I went to do some grocery shopping yesterday. I was like, God, man, like how much did I just spend? You know,
Right.
But I don't know. Like I just want to do what I like to do. I want to
Yeah.
go in there and sell records and fix turntables and talk to people about music and not have to think about that other stuff. I hate that I have to think about those
That's
other
right.
things, or that we have to make X amount of sales a day, or like I love when it's a busy day and I see us making some money. It's like
Yeah.
cool, but like
At the end of the day, it was never about that. So
yeah, I ain't ever gonna get rich doing this.
Yeah.
20 years in and like still driving the same old work truck I was driving 20 years ago. Yeah.
But I guess there's something beautiful in that. Yeah.
I
there's something
seriously do
beautiful in
it
that.
for the love and being able to hopefully like, I don't know, give staff like a decent like job, decent pay, and
Yeah.
that kind of thing, like I think more than anything it's like cool, I want us to do well so I can afford to pay this person more or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But also I want us to do well because I want to be able to keep doing this.
I get it. I do have one more question.
Yeah.
Because, Vance is keeping time on me, keeping the clock.
TikTok.
Forget the clock. No, I do have one last question though. But you already dropped so many beautiful gems. But if there's one piece of advice that you can give someone that's being an entrepreneur, what would that be?
Really, so don't be afraid to do it at all. Don't be afraid. If you're gonna do it, you can't be afraid or it's not gonna work. Like you gotta wholeheartedly go into that, knowing like I have to make this work. And maybe I'm stupid for that. Maybe I should have quit a long time ago. It would probably made a lot more financial sense. But I think one thing I do try to tell people though is to really educate yourself as to what you're going to be doing. Like, not only the accounting side of things or like, I don't know, the tax law stuff,
Yeah.
but like actually know what you're talking about, because God knows I see so many people start businesses because it's just like they see online, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be this now, or I'm going to be the next photographer or like potter or record store owner or whatever. And like, it's really telling when I see some businesses start up and you start to talk to some of these folks and it's like, man, you really don't even know what you're talking about or what
Right.
you're doing, or you're literally spitting like incorrect
Yeah.
information. So like, not like I'm some end all be all know everything sort of
Mhm.
thing, but like I continue to try to keep learning, like beyond just like trying to educate myself to like new music or old music or whatever. Like I keep learning more and more about the physics of it, or like
Mhm.
more and more about fixing these turntables or these cartridges. Like I'm teaching
Right.
myself to put a new diamond on the tip of the can,
Yeah.
not buying a replacement needle, but literally putting a new diamond on myself, like under a microscope. Like I want to be that. Like I want to be able to provide that for this city. I want to
Right.
do something different than anyone else. 'Cause you can go to Walmart and buy records.
That's very true.
Lord knows, like anywhere and buy
Yeah.
records. But like I want to be able to do something different. Like you can't go into Walmart and say, hey, can you inspect my needle under this microscope and tell me just how worn this is?
Mhm.
Not that it's broken, but like how many hours I have left of playtime on this thing. Like it's the nerdy stuff that
Yeah.
that's what keeps me up at night. Like trying to keep learning and learning and learning and learning so I can just be the best I can at this, Like if you don't want to keep learning or you don't want to like really even know what you're doing before, like just don't.
Just don't. Yeah, that's
Because
so
you'll
true.
save yourself a lot of money and a lot of heartache.
That's
when
right.
It doesn't work. It's like eventually people will recognize that you don't know what you're talking about,
Right.
what you're doing. Yeah,
That's so
I've had former staff that were like, talk. I shouldn't be talking, but like would really like
Yeah.
spout some shit out their ass, and it's just like, no, what you just told them's completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to blow you up in front of them, but that's not, like, I don't want to share wrong information because then everybody starts parroting the wrong, like, God, in this industry especially, I see people all the time, like, online just parroting misinformation
Yeah.
about, like, why this turntable's not good for your records or this needle's bad. Like, nah, you're just repeating what you heard.
What you heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody gets their
I
information.
don't know.
off
Anyway,
TikTok.
the best thing you can do is, like, really know that you're going to have to do this and wholeheartedly do this, and then educate yourself to what you're doing and just do the damn thing.
Yeah.
And don't ever stop learning. I swear to God, the second
that's so
everything
true.
in life, the second you stop learning, like you're dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I keep going every day. I keep trying to learn every day. Like there's most days, this is like the most I would sit in a day, like
Yeah.
just sitting here doing this. It's usually like I get home and eat, shower, and all that, and then when I lay down, it's like this is the first time I've like sat
Yeah.
since like 6 a.m. Like if you're good with that, cool. Or maybe you have that business that's like wildly successful, and you don't have to be there all the time. That's another one. I see so many people like, oh, I'm starting a business, and then the owner's never there.
Yeah.
Like you just, oh, here's a bunch of people running like you're never there. Like that's not a good look.
Mm.
Like I don't know. I want to be in my shop as
Right.
the face of the business. Like I want people to see that I'm there and actually do work in my own spot. So when people come in, like, I ain't seen you in a while, I'm like, must have just been at the wrong times, 'Cause I try to be in my business every single day.
That's good. Because it's your 20-year-old baby.
Yeah.
So
She's about to be legal to go drink.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I hope her 20s are not like my 20s were. That was a mess.
yeah. No, it's gonna be great. And if you're ever here in Wilmington, Matt's business info is gonna be linked in the description. Matt, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for humoring my
No
rants.
problem. No, this has been a great interview. We learned a lot. I think the most that we've learned is that you are the Castle Street dog whisperer. Yeah, thank you, Vance. Thank you, Women Podcast Studio. Thank you to the sponsors that make this episode happen. And of course, thank you for watching this episode. Until next time, I'm Irma T. Make sure you go out and support a local business. Bye. Hey guys, it's me, Rama T, and I hope at the end of this episode you felt super inspired to shop within your local community. But make sure to tune in next week where I'll have another entrepreneur to talk about their journey here only on YouTube.